Hi, my name is Rodi, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the methodology and the processes involved in transforming my original song, Underwater, into something that I can perform using Ableton Push. The first thing I had to think about was how to simplify the original track. So I had to take what was about 30 or 40 audio tracks and simplify it to a manageable level to perform. So as you can see in this original recording, we're using a lot of sequenced elements in Ableton, as well as a lot of live recording from the drums, and the main feature of the track, the top line melody, the pedal steel guitar. The original song was written in a 5/4 time signature, and I wanted to transform it so I could perform it in a more accessible 4/4 time signature. So after simplifying the time signature, I had to find a way to keep the rhythm interesting, and the way I did that was using a space echo as an external audio effect. Now, you can really use whatever you like to do this. For instance, I've just used a digital pedal here today and connected it through my sound card. In Ableton, what I've done is set up an external audio effect on a return channel and configured the audio to and the audio from my sound interface. The reason I put this on the return channel is that I'm able then to dial in different amounts on different channels. So for instance, I could send a little bit of my drum track to the space echo and a lot of my Juno synth. For the harmony in this piece, I wanted to use my Juno 106 synthesizer because it has a really interesting timbre. Another reason I use the Juno is that it has a really interesting feature that you can actually control the amount of filter cutoff using the pitch bend wheel. This meant that I could then control the amount of filter cutoff as well as the notes being played just using Ableton Push. So as I mentioned earlier, the main focus of this song is going to be on the top line melody, which is played by a pedal steel guitar. So the main thing I had to think about when designing this guitar sound was that it would actually react and sound a little bit like a real pedal steel guitar. So the first important thing to think about is the pitch bend, which I can control off the huge touch strip on Ableton Push. The sound of the guitar itself, this was created just using a sample of one note of the original pedal steel guitar and then processed using an effects chain that I created. In my MIDI options on my sampler, I've actually set the pitch bend range to 10 semitones up, or a major seventh, and also setting the glide to 122 milliseconds, which kind of is the right sort of timing to slide between notes. So after setting up the glide, I wanted to set up a vibrato, which I did using the modulation section of Sampler. This combined with the tremolo using AutoPan and a little bit of short reverb gives it a realistic guitar tone. The next thing I wanted to do is create a bit of a lo-fi sound using a bandpass on the EQ8. Now I'm using a combination of amp and cabinet effects to give it a real guitar tone. Followed by a flanger to give it an underwatery sort of feeling, an overdrive, and a ping pong delay. So this is pretty much my guitar sound, except there's one last EQ on the end, and this is designed for when I play these really high notes to remove the resonant peaks that are created by playing it so high. With the way I've designed this performance piece now, theoretically I could play it any way I liked. I can even play this song in a completely different time signature, in the 3/4, and it'll still be really recognizable because of those sound elements that we've designed. So here it is as a 3/4 waltz and performed really slowly.